Yeah, we here. So how you doing?
I'm fabulous. I have no complaints. I am blessed and highly favored. How
I
about
can
you?
see that. I can see that. I can see that. So Flatbush, huh? That's where you're from.
Yeah, I'm technically from East Flatbush, but
Flatbush. Okay, that's the '90s.
nah, 40s.
Oh, the '40s. Okay, where in Flatbush?
Near Utica, like Foster Farragut over there.
Oh, okay, okay. I grew up on 35th around Glenwood and Farragut. I don't know if you know where that's. You know where that's at.
Of course, I know where that is.
Yeah, you do. You do.
Yes.
So I heard you went to Ebenezer. Is that true?
Who told you? I did. Who told
Listen,
you
you
that?
gotta relax. You got. I know it. I come on. This is Flatbush. We are Flatbush. You see the shirt?
Yeah, I thought you was gonna hit me with like my high school. You went to like elementary, pre-K, junior high.
Yep. So what was it like going to Ebenezer? I heard that school was it an all black school?
You know what's so funny? Like now that I'm older, I realize how
I'm sweating. Oh my god.
it's okay. Now that I'm older, I realize how unique that experience was. Like, it was an all black school, but it was also Caribbean. So, like, the owners were a Bayesian family.
Okay.
It was very small. All my teachers were West Indian. We had African print uniforms on.
For
We
real?
were like, it was like a Pan Africanist Caribbean Baptist school.
Mm. So how did that help you? Like, what kind of influence going to that kind of school? How did that help mold you to the person you are today?
That's a great question. I think the curriculum, for one, was pretty strict. I also skipped. I started 1 year early in Ebenezer, and then I skipped fifth grade. So it literally changed
Smart,
my
you
life.
smart girl.
You know, a little something, something.
Okay, okay, that's what's
But you
up.
know, they could do that in those schools back in the days, and so it just changed my life because I've always been 2 to 3 years ahead. I went to high school at 12, and so like going to Ebenezer and being able to like, I'll
Wait,
give you a second to process.
you went to high school at 12?
Uh huh.
You went to high school at 12. So how was that? What was it like going to high school at 12?
Bro, it was wild. Because I went to Brooklyn Tech. And so,
Okay. My brother and my sister went to Brooklyn Tech.
okay.
Yeah,
I
I
would
wasn't
ask what
smart enough to go to Brooklyn Tech, but whatever. At least they went. Somebody in the family went to Brooklyn Tech, so that's
where
what's
did
up.
you go?
I went to Tilden, and then I got kicked out, and it's a long story, but we're talking. It's about you. This is
No, but okay, but look. So I went to Tech. And so in Ebenezer, my class was of 9 people. So I graduating class had 9 people. Brooklyn Tech, 5,000 students. Instantly a whole different world.
so
And
how?
so
I mean, that was a different world. So like, how did that affect you? Was you like ready for that change, or?
um I don't think I was in hindsight. Like I cut school, so I didn't go to class. So tech, I wilds out. Like I completely wilds out. I turned crip. I got sliced by blood when I was 13.
Wait, well, hold on, hold on, hold on. You
In
speeding
tech,
right now. So you turned in. Wait.
this
So
is
you went
what
to
it's supposed to
Ebenezer.
be for my autobiography. I'm giving you all this tea in advance.
You turned. You was a crip and got
Mm-hmm.
cut by a blood.
Yep, I got cut by blood and then I turned crip because I was like, oh, we out here.
Okay. So you got stop.
So I
But you
doubled
got
down.
cut by a blood, so you was like, I might as well be a crip.
Yeah, now I had a reason.
Yo, I gotta put my fan on. I have to put. I'm
Turn it
burning.
on. Mine is on. It's too hot.
Listen, I'm over here trying to be cute and shit. I need to hear you. I have to turn the fan on.
No, turn it on.
Wow. So you got cut by a. Wow. I wasn't ready for that. So how did the girl? So are you still a crip?
No.
Listen, what did
But
you?
you do have to ask, right?
I mean, how do you make the transition out of crip life?
This is so funny. I always tell a joke like I became corp. My stuff was in Crown Heights, so when I wanted to stop banging, I just kept going off to the 4 train in Utica. I just stopped getting off at Franklin. I just went home. It was very easy.
Wait, so you was from Flatbush, but you used to hang out in Crown Heights. That's where your set was from Crown Heights.
Yeah, yeah.
That's interesting. One of the guys that's part of We Are Flatbush, he actually went to school with you. He's also a Crip, but I think he's like a Let me not put his business up.
Yeah, I like to say, my friend put it probably like, I like to say that I was like a school crip. All of my fights happened when I was in school. You know, when I went home, I'm from the 40s. I live in a private house. So it's very much like a child that was acting out. When I went to tech, I was so much younger than everyone that people tried to test me. And I was like, oh, I'm not the one. And so that's kind of what happened. So the long story short, I did not graduate from tech. I went to Nazareth, then I went to Tilden, and then I graduated from
Oh, you
Connecticut.
went to? I went to Tilden too.
Exactly. I know. Tilden was
Tilden was different. Also, a guy, Popeye, he went to Tilden. He went before me. He kind of made a bad rep for that school, so I had to follow that. But it's all good. Shout out to Popeye. Shout out to the whole team. But that's great, man. So you was a crip, and then so when did like comedy? Wait, let's go back a little bit. So you're a West Indian, I heard, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's your background?
I'm Trini and Guyanese.
You're Trini and Guyanese.
Mm-hmm.
Who's Guyanese in your family? Who's your father?
My
Guyanese?
dad is a Guyanese GT Bana.
Oh,
And my mother is Trini.
past me. So, you know what? I got a question about that later, but we'll get to that later. So
Okay.
anyway, Flatbush, growing up, gang member. Wow, this is a lot. I didn't see that coming.
I don't like to lead with that. That was a very small part. I'm like so much more.
No, it's great because it shows your progression. It shows how much you have changed. Because now, I mean, what you're like a great comedian. I've been watching a couple of your things. I'm like, wow, this girl is good. Why did I know about you before this? I apologize.
Thank
So
you. In due time.
When did you realize that you was like funny?
I come from a funny family, and my grandmother always told me I could be a comedian, and I never wanted to be a comedian. I thought it was so offensive. I was like, I'm being dead serious. Why are you saying I could be a comedian? I was so mad.
So you were just naturally funny, and you think
Yeah.
you got that from your grandmother, or your grandmother used to make fun of you, or she was like against it?
My grandmother enjoyed a good laugh. She
Yeah.
loves laughing, so I'm always crazy. She used to be like, she used to call me Anne Marie's mad child. That's my mother. She's like, where did they find you from? So I would just be doing whatever I did, and my grandmother would just be falling out.
Oh my God! So Caribbean comedy was that something that you grew up on in the house? Did you know like Caribbean comedians, or who did you look up to? Who were your influences?
I want to say not as much. Like we grew up like watching Oliver,
Okay,
and
of course.
and the other one, Desmond, the Guyanese one.
That's
So
it.
we
Okay.
played that in my house. And we had like illegal cable growing up. So I watched everything. I watched every Chris Rock special. I loved Whoopi Goldberg growing up. I loved Jim Carrey. Like when I first started doing comedy, I thought I would be doing like all these accents and characters. Like I thought I would be the female Major Hype. And then
Well,
that didn't happen.
I mean, you're on your way there. Major Hype is pretty awesome. That's my boy. Shout out to Major Hype.
Yeah.
But I can see you being like, watching a couple of your things. You're right now. You're kind of like the Queen of Flatbush.
Oh, thank you. I'll take that.
You're definitely represented. You know what I'm saying? You're doing your thing. I'm very proud of you.
Hi, Cherise.
Oh, shout out to Therese. That's my sister. That's my little sister right there.
That's my fake cousin.
Your fake cousin?
Yeah.
So do you use like any like Caribbean things in like your comedy and your stand up and stuff like that?
When I first started, my first set was like 30 minutes of all Caribbean material because my friend, she worked at HSBC corporate, and I wasn't doing stand up then. I was doing improv and sketch, and I was rapping, and she was like, "You could."
So you was so you was rapping too?
Yes, I got bars.
Spit some bars. Spit some bars.
Okay.
Like, if you really a rapper, spit some bars right now.
Alright. I'm a real Brooklyn chick. The type that used to catch a lick, catch a jukes, catch the bus at any hood, and still be good. Sometimes I wish a bitch would, but now I chill. Can't always give him Brownville, that Flatbush, that never ran, that never real. But here's the deal, karma is fucking real, and I don't ever want to be the reason for the blood spill.
Yo, I'm very surprised right now by you. I'm so sorry. It's my first time talking to you, but I didn't expect to hear bars. I didn't know you could rap. Like you're kind of like you're like a jack of all spades.
Yep.
Well, quick, sorry, right?
Mm-hmm.
So also, I heard you was a stylist. Is that true? Did you style like for Jay-Z at one point?
I was fashion designer, and I made clothes for Jay-Z, and then I was a stylist after that.
So you made clothes for Jay-Z. So did you like meet Jay-Z?
I saw him.
Yeah.
I opened the door to a room I should not have on set, and he was like getting dressed in like his boxers, and he had like a whole team of people, and his stylist was June Ambrose, and she was like buttoning up his shirt, and I kind of opened the door to like deliver the jacket, and he just kind of looked, and then June just closed the door and was like, "You can't be here. Thank you for the shirt. Goodbye."
Get in, get out. That's it.
Yep. That's as close.
That's dope though. So you was a rapper. Well, you are a rapper. You're not was. You just spit some bars. So you're obviously still a rapper, comedian, and you also did like sketch comedy. Seen you on like Cypher Sounds. I seen you on.
Before that, since we going down the list, before that was a choreographer, and so I toured with Mr. Vegas. Check by yourself. That was me. That was my era.
You gotta relax.
No, chill. That's why my name is Overfab. I overdo it every time.
So were you a part of? Do you remember like Flex? You know, like the Flex.
Of
crew?
course, Flex in Brooklyn. See, I could not be a part of Flex dancing because I was gangbanging and I had too much. There's certain places you don't go when you have mad beef. Empire Skating Rink. You could only go there when you had your team and Flex. So I did not go all the time.
So gangbanging got in the way of your dance career. That's what you're telling me?
No, I just danced. I danced in school. I danced. I did like auditions, and I would like do music videos and stuff. And so I was always trying to do what I'm doing now.
Wow. So is there any time that you felt like afraid to do things? Like you sound like a person that just goes and does what she wants to do whenever she wants to do it. Nothing could stop you. Are you like anxiety? Do you have any kind of like? Is there any time you went on stage and you said, you know what, I gotta prep, I gotta get ready, like I gotta breathe, like, or do you just go straight and do it?
Both. You always prep. You always feel a little anxious, but you do it anyway. You just don't let fear stop you.
You look. It seems natural to you. Like just looking at you and talking to you, it seems like everything just comes natural. That's what's up. So growing up in Flatbush, and now you're part of a show called Flatbush Misdemeanors, which you are an actor and also a writer.
Mm-hmm.
So how did that come about?
I was a part of the web series back when it was a web series in 2017, and I was in just one scene in one episode. But ever since then, I love the show. I love the web series, and I was following its success throughout the comedy festival circuit. And I'm also friends with the co-creators. So they're stand-up comedians just like I'm a stand-up comedian. So I would just always keep abreast of what was going on with it. And then during the pandemic, they got picked up. And I basically used the pandemic to perfect my own 30-minute writing sample and my own story. And so whenever you're being hired or considered to write for a show, they ask for a writing sample. And so when I noticed that it got picked up, I kind of told my homeboy, I was like, congratulations, but also don't forget your friend from Flatbush. And he was like, say less. I was already thinking of you. Do you have a writing sample? My people will email your people. And that's kind of how it happened. I emailed them my sample. They liked it. I interviewed. I joined the writing team, and then we did the room for about 3 or 4 months, and then I was asked to audition for Jasmine.
So wait, the show was already called Flatbush Misdemeanors before you was on it?
Mm-hmm. It was a web series. And being from Flatbush, they approached me and they was like, oh, you want to be in our web series? And that's the thing, like in comedy, it's all about producing your own thing. So you'll see a lot of people have web series or have podcasts. And so when they were like, oh, you want to be in my web series? I like them. So I was like, yeah, let me know, what is it about? And they were like, it's called Flatbush Misdemeanors. And I'm like, with the side eye, like, is it though? And then I saw it and I just loved it. And I thought it was so dope. So I've been a fan.
Yeah, because I watched the whole thing yesterday. I had to check it out because listen, you know how
watching it for the first time.
I just watching it, but listen, because being from Flatbush, we like, nah, I gotta see this Flatbush Misdemeanors. I gotta see what it's about. But you know what? You guys kept it real. I like how you showed Patel, you showed Lennox. You guys went to Caribbean Social. You guys went to Erasmus. You kept it real authentic. So. Did people in the neighborhood like see you shooting this stuff? Like, were they like wondering what the hell?
And yeah, they did. People approached us while we were shooting. They're like, "What's this for? What's going on?" And you have street permits. You have permits to film in the street, so it'll be on the signs. It says like Flatbush Misdemeanors. So people were pretty curious to know what the hell was going on.
Oh wow, yeah. I could imagine because I would have been like, yo, what's like? I need to be in it. That's what I'd be like. I'd be like, yo, I need to see. So I want to ask you another question. So you said you're Trini and Guyanese.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a real question for you. This is a serious question.
Okay.
Who makes the best roti? Are you allowed to answer this? I don't want you to have no problems.
Huh.
You want to pass on that one?
That's a trick question. I don't know. I might pass because it depends on who's making it. Like, my instincts want to say Trini. You know, like Guyanese, hands down, pepper pot.
By the show of flags,
Trini, you know? Trini's, we got doubles, we have pylori, we have all kind of things that'll be real soft and nice.
All right, what about curry? Who makes the best curry?
I'm biased. I don't know. Isn't that different, the curry from both sides?
You know what? I feel like Guyanese roti is a little thicker than the Trini roti.
It depends on if it's dal puri or not. And so, yeah, whether or not it has the peas or not. So I think, yeah. I don't know, but now I know I'm hungry. That's fine.
So what? Let me ask you. Growing up in your house, because you grew up in a house with Guyanese and Trini, what kind of music did they clean up to? Was it like Ready, Ready Wine? You know, that's the Guyanese song right there.
Is it?
What like? Did you eat cook up rice? Like, what did you guys do in the house?
My dad used to be a DJ for a little bit, so I grew up, and he had a big sound, and so I grew up listening to reggae. Like, I love reggae. Everybody's like, what kind of Trini are you? Like, I have a very, don't hate me for this, y'all, but I have a small tolerance for soca. I need it in small doses.
Listen. Soca to me is only for the clubs. Don't kill me.
Yeah.
And maybe for like working out on a treadmill or something like that. But I don't like to see people driving around. Nah, let me leave it alone. I don't want no problems.
Yeah, but you know what it is, because you gotta always be upbeat. It's always and sometimes I don't feel to be all like this. Sometimes I want to, do a little skank, a little.
Yeah, I was just telling Reese this. I'm like, yo, there's no like personally, I like Haitian music. I'm
Me
not
too.
I'm from I love Haitian music because it's nice and slow. The song's about 10 minutes long. You can dance to it for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy yourself. But that's what's up, man. I'm proud of you, man. So listen, we are Flatbush. We're working on a documentary. We're trying to put something together. What kind of advice would you give people like us and people that's trying to write, trying to come up with something, but just don't know where to start? Like, what advice could you give people like us?
I would say research is important. So trying to get information about what you're doing. Find people who are doing something similar. Find people who are doing what doing what you want to do, and ask them a little bit about their process. I think networking is very important, but like networking effectively, not just going to parties with a flyer that says 3 before 10 and taking pictures for the gram, talking about networking. Like, actually having a mentor, somebody that is like coaching you to do things. And I'm just a big proponent of studying. So whether it's learning on YouTube now, whether it's taking an online course, whether it's reading a book, figuring out your craft so that you can become good at it.
So basically, do your research, study. If you really want it, go after it, do your thing.
And don't be afraid to make mistakes. You can only fail on the way to success is through multiple failures. So just get to fucking up so you can get to like being better. No.
So I was watching on the show where they said, what's the guy named Kevin? The two the main guys, Kevin and Dan. There was a part in the show where, I guess some gentrification stuff was kind of going on. What do you feel about that in Flatbush?
Oh, I hate it. I mean, here's the thing. There's parts of it that I do like. I like that now we have fresh vegetables. Like, I like that. I mean,
you got to go all the way down to like Prospect Park area to get the fresh vegetables. Yeah, where else do they have it in Flatbush? I don't know.
I mean, I don't know because I don't live on Flatbush.
They still got the Korean spots.
They still okay. Well then, damn. Yeah, I don't like the coming in and trying to change the culture. I don't like that we were already here doing our thing, and now you want to complain because we're practicing steel pan or because of Juve. Like, I hate that. It bothers me so much. I don't like that people can't afford to live where they've been living this whole time.
Yeah.
I hate that now that, like, oh my gosh. I was in DC yesterday, actually, and there was this couple. You know, people are happy to be out, so they're just talking to everybody. And there was this couple from Atlanta, this white couple, and we were like, "Oh, we're from New York," and she was like, "Oh yeah, my brother, he lives in Brooklyn." We're like, "Oh, we live in Brooklyn too." She's like, "He lives in Prospect Park, but the other part, the up and coming part."
Is that what that's what they said?
She looked at me, and I was like, "Oh, you mean the popping part? The part that's like culturally intact? Like, your brother should be so lucky, man." You know, some stuff like that.
And that was someone from DC said that.
No, she's from Atlanta. She was on vacation. So we were both in DC. But it's just like the suggestion that, what you mean up and coming? We've been here. Up and coming to who? Who?
Yeah.
You know, the insinuation is just offensive.
Yeah, it is. It's very disrespectful. But you know what? I'm thinking about your show, Flatbush Misdemeanors, and one thing I can say is that it's pretty big. It's a big ass thing. Like, we're from Flatbush, and there's a show called Flatbush Misdemeanors. That's not something we would expect to ever happen. Like, people to actually pay attention to Flatbush. You know, like this little Caribbean area with a bunch of West Indians wilding out, or Juve is now a TV show on Showtime. Like, how does that make you feel to know that you're a part of that?
Well, two parts. One, I always believed it could happen. Yep. I always believed it. Like, since I was a little girl, I've always been dreaming of creating stories about us. I'm in the process of developing my own show with Caribbean characters, like the whole thing, like what Trini parents, Guyanese, like from my experience. And so I always believed that it could happen, and I'm happy that it's happening respectfully. I'm happy that it's being done well, and I'm very grateful to be a part of it happening. That it's happening with me and not around me.
Yeah, because if you didn't make it to the show, because you know it needs to be authentic, and definitely you and my homeboy's in the show. I forgot his name. Haitian. He plays the Haitian father of the girl.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can't remember the actor's name, but he's great.
Yes, he was in that other show. He used to do karate back in the days, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was glad to see some real like Flatbush heads in there. You know what I'm saying? And represent.
Yeah, there's a couple of us in there. One of the girls, she's from Flatbush. The other girl, Zaina, she is from Brooklyn.
Okay.
Hassan is from Staten Island, so he's a New Yorker. Kareem is from Brooklyn. He's from Brooklyn and Queens. We in there. We in there. The stylist is from Flatbush, so she like dressed everybody to make sure that it was authentic. Wow. It was dope.
That was really. I'm really proud of you guys, man. So, what can you tell me about Kwanzaa Crawl? Like, what's that about?
Sure. Kwanzaa Crawl is a bar crawl that my sister and I do every year. It's to support Black-owned businesses in Brooklyn and Harlem. Okay. This is going to be our 5th year. Last year was supposed to be year number 5, but COVID happened. And so 2021, we're coming back. It's our 5th year. And essentially, it's about 5,000 Black people dressed in whatever makes them feel unapologetically Black. And we go out with bullhorns. We have different teams. They separate into like 100 different teams. And they basically hop from bar to bar. And we rotate every hour and a half. So like, it's nuts. It's insane. We brought in about $500,000 for Black-owned businesses last year.
Okay.
And so the purpose of it is to get Black people to start spending money together, to realize that we need economic power, especially if we're ever going to get political power in this country. The reason why we tie it to Kwanzaa is because the 7 principles of Kwanzaa actually have the tools that Black people need to define themselves for themselves, to be together, to support one another, because we don't need anybody else. And so if we hold ourselves accountable and support one another, then we can elevate ourselves out of this situation that we're in. So that's why we do it.
That's what's up, man. You explained that awesome.
Thank you.
Listen, we are Flatbush. We would love to be a part of that any way we can
help. Oh, for sure.
Any way we can contribute. You know what I'm saying? We've only been around for a year, but we're trying our best to just, you know, get involved in the community and do more things for the community. So anything we can do to help, please let us know.
Yeah, for sure. I will definitely reach out. We are probably gonna branch out. We haven't been on Flatbush in Brooklyn. Yeah, we've been on. We have like Sugarcane and 333 and PK9, so lower down. But we want to expand to like Flatbush, Flatbush. We're Caribbean socialists, so we're expanding this year.
So anyway, just I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. Like you went from being a Crip, you know what I'm saying, gang banging, you know, beef with Bloods, writing, rapping, to now starring on your own TV show. I mean, what else can I say? So proud of you.
Thank you, and congratulations on your first year.
Thank you, thank you. Is there anybody you would like to shout out? You want to send some love to your Flatbush peoples?
Yeah, shout out to everybody in Flatbush. Shout out to all my West Indian massive. Shout out to everybody that's Black and beautiful.
And listen, we got to know the answer one point in time. Trini, Roti, or no?
I'm going with Trini. I'm going with Trinidad. I'm going with Trinidad. Sorry.
I'm going with it too.
Thank you.
Listen, we definitely thank you and appreciate you for coming on our platform. Shout out to the whole team. Shout out to Reese for reaching out, for letting me know. Shout out to the whole family. We love you. Keep it up, and we hope there's gonna be another season.
There will be. We don't know yet, but my spirit tells me yes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if it doesn't, I see you're not stopping anyway. You
Can't
had
stop,
your own
stop.
YouTube series. I mean, like there's nothing stopping you over Fab.
Thank you.
It was a blessing. We definitely appreciate it. Have a blessed night.
Likewise, I'll see you around in these streets.
I definitely. And listen, we're going to pull up on you with some Flatbush.
I seriously need it. No, for real. I want my shirts.
My boy Crave, he got the Flatbush stuff. He'll ship it out to you wherever you at now, because you probably living in the high hills in Hollywood or something. But, you know.
Brooklyn forever.
All right, say less, say less,
Okay.
say less. We appreciate it.
Bye. Thank you.
I have no problem.